Good evening. Putnam County continues to recover from the major tornado damage. We have completed our first search of all the damaged area. We're approximately 90% complete with our second search. We plan to have the remaining 10% of that second search complete by noon tomorrow. We have made some great progress today. We have decreased the number of unaccounted persons to 3. As you well know, that started out at about 88, and we have worked it down through the day-to-day to only 3. The good news is our death count has not risen. We still remain at 18. I will tell you, though, that today there was the remains, a skeleton remains found of a body in the area, but we do not think that it is storm-related. It appeared to have been there for a year or so, and I'll let Sheriff Farris, as he gives his account, go into that with more details. We released a list of the deceased this morning to you. We have identified all of the 18 deceased. We have been overwhelmed with volunteers today. We asked for volunteers to show up this morning at 8 a.m. There were hundreds. We actually had one of our major thoroughfares in Cookeville, South Jefferson Avenue, backed up for approximately 2 miles with folks trying to get in. We deeply appreciate everyone that showed up to help. We estimated that all in total, we had somewhere around 2,500 people that came to Putnam County, or folks that already live here that are our citizens that came out to help. We can never voice words that shows our deepest gratitude and appreciation for all the outpouring we have seen from our community, whether it's been those volunteers coming out, whether it's been our large construction companies that have brought in heavy equipment to help our road and street departments with clearing the roads and clearing debris. It's been amazing. Food donations, monetary donations, supplies. It continues to pour in, and for all of that, from whoever you are and wherever you are, our deepest appreciation to you. With all the devastation of the power lines and utilities in the area, it has been slow with the power companies and being able to restore power. For any of you who have been down there, you've seen. We started out with about 5,500 customers without power. That has been decreased now to about 2,000 customers, most of those being in that devastated area. Power companies continue to try to isolate that area out and restore power. They're working 24/7 around the clock to do that. Several power companies from around other areas of not only the state but the country have come in to help, and that has been a massive undertaking, and it continues. Due to that undertaking that we plan on having tomorrow, we're going to ask that no volunteers come to the area tomorrow. The power companies are planning on stretching cable, which makes the area very dangerous for folks to be in. And our main concern is that we have no one else get hurt from this disaster. So I hope everyone understands that public safety has to come first. We will notify everyone about when we will start allowing volunteers to come back in. That could be as early as Friday or Saturday, depending on how well tomorrow goes with the restoration of utilities, not only the power lines, telephone lines, gas, water. We had some major devastation to all those utilities in the area from the tornado. We still have a few people that are in our Red Cross shelter here locally at the First Baptist Church. That number remains very low. Most of those folks have went to stay with family, friends, or in some of our local hotels and motels. Our distribution center, which was set up at the Cookeville Community Center, continues to operate. That location is 240 Carlin Avenue. That is set up for anyone affected by the storm to be able to come and receive water, non-perishable food, baby clothes, diapers, supplies. It has been amazing at the amount of supplies and stuff that has been donated. We've actually even had tractor trailer trucks come in loaded with water and other supplies that have been brought in. So we want to make sure that we put out to everyone, if you were affected by the storm, There is a lot of supplies and food available to you. If you'll just come to our distribution center, which is the Cookeville Community Center at 240 Carlin Avenue. Now I'm going to turn it over to Sheriff Eddie Farris for an update on our search efforts.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. As Mayor Porter stated, we're 90% completed with our search. One upbeat bit of information we'd like to talk about. We certainly talked about the 20 to 25 acre field that we were concerned about the last two press conferences. We are almost through that entire field area. The other 10% remaining is that particular area. We will complete that starting tomorrow and finish that by noon tomorrow at the latest. We will have law enforcement and first responders there tonight on the scene, working around the clock. Curfew is active starting at 7 p.m. tonight till 8 a.m. in the morning. And the curfew is only affected to the affected area. It's only required in the affected area. It's not for the whole county. We had a little confusion last night on that. We have asked and received from the FAA a temporary flight restriction over the area. We had some issues the last couple of days with flights coming over and flying at low altitude and sort of hindering some of our search and getting in our space. That also is restricted for drones as well. That'll be in effect until Friday at 10 a.m. As Mayor Porter stated, we did find a body today as we were searching for the tornado victims. The body had been there for quite some time. It is being worked as a death investigation by Cookeville Police Department and is an ongoing investigation, and there's not a whole lot else to report on that. With that, I'll turn it over to Mayor Shelton.
Good evening. As you can see behind us, we have established a monetary donation site, and it's Cookeville Putnam County Tornado Relief Fund. There are a couple of ways right now that you can, individuals can donate to that. That is at all 19 locations of Bank of Putnam County, or we have a Venmo set up, or we will have a PayPal set up by tomorrow. And all those links are on my Facebook page, and they're also on our EMA pages and Mayor Porter pages as well. We still have, continue to utilize the Help Now at PutnamCountyTN.gov, and that's for any information, or if you need to offer services to donate or anything, any product to donate. The number you also know, 931-646-INFO, 931-646-4636, is still active for general information. We also have the food distribution to victims number, which is 931-526-8015 if you have anything that you want to make sure that gets to the people that have been affected. And then we have a number for if you have an organization that wants to provide food for workers on site. We have a number for that as well, and that is 615-585-6341. Presently in the city of Cookeville, Mayor Porter talked about the amount of people without power. That is outside the city limits, served by Upper Cumberland Electric Membership Corporation. Inside the city limits of Cookeville, there are 150 customers still without power, and that will be down to 75 within 2 hours. So the rest of that will be finalized tomorrow. Also, the Putnam County Schools will have open sites to provide child care from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Only for families that have been affected by the storm. So that's what the site is for, and these will be located at Baxter Primary, Cornerstone, Cane Creek Elementary, Upperman Middle School, and Upperman High School. Also, we continue to have reports of people finding things in their yard. The debris field was miles long, so if in fact you find something in the yard that is of a personal nature, a picture, or something that you think might need to get back to someone that it belonged to, any kind of artifact like that, we have an area set up inside the Cookeville Community Center that you can turn those into. And if you happen to, if it's within the range of the affected area, those can be turned in at the command center on site. But if it's outside, as it was at my house and others, then turn that in at the Cookeville Community Center, and there will be an effort to get those back to, or have a place that people can come and view those, and then we'll figure out what to do with those at a later time. So again, continue to ask for prayers for our community, especially the families that will unfortunately be burying their loved ones over the next several days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Shelton. Let me say, on behalf of all of us, the cooperation that we have received from our state officials and federal officials has been amazing. Calls multiple times a day from our congressmen and our senators and the White House and our governor, and we've just been amazed at the outpouring of support, which is the way it should be, the way our government is supposed to work, and it has. And there has been absolutely nothing that we have asked for that we have not received from both the state and the federal level. And we're proud to have Congressman John Rose with us tonight, and I'd like to ask him to come and say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor Porter. It's a privilege to be here, and I want to just begin by applauding our local officials, Mayor Porter, Mayor Shelton, Sheriff Ferris, and their team of first responders here in Cookeville and Putnam County for the fantastic effort that they've made in the last 2 days to help the community respond to this tragedy. Earlier today had the opportunity to view the affected areas, and it is horrific, the damage that the community has sustained, but it is also inspiring to see the outpouring of volunteers and the dedicated public servants that we have who are responding to that. And it is, I think, a unique indication of the great power of this country to see those volunteers and to see our first responders and see local officials providing that initial response. As Mayor Porter indicated, both I and the other members of Tennessee's congressional delegation have committed to work cooperatively with the governor's administration, or Governor Lee's administration, to make sure that the federal response is what it should be. It's my understanding that efforts are well underway to submit the request for disaster declaration, and that will be forthcoming at the appropriate time. And I have assurances both from the White House and from my colleagues in the Congress that the appropriate federal response will be there. And so again, our heart pours out to the families that have lost loved ones, to this community that will now undertake a very long process of healing, and our hearts ache for these folks, and they're our families, our neighbors, our friends, and we have a long healing process, but a great community that's pulling together to help make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Rose. We appreciate you being here and all your support that you've shown us. As I said earlier, the outpouring of support and love from our community has been nothing short of amazing. From the bottom of all of our hearts and everyone involved, we want to say thank you to everyone for everything that's been done. Please keep those families in your prayers, and also our workers, our emergency service workers, law enforcement that are going through these dangerous areas with all the debris as they work on a day-to-day basis, and making sure that everyone is accounted for. Unless something major happens through the night or tomorrow morning, our next update will not be until tomorrow evening at 5:15. And we'll answer any questions if you have any tonight.
Yes, I have a question. Good
Yes.
evening. My first question for you is just, can you talk about the process on how you've been able to make contact with family members who are missing their loved ones, and then how are you able to then contact them when they've been found, or at least contact the public when their loved one has been found?
We started a process in the very beginning with our 646 info number that allowed our local residents or families from anywhere to call if they had missing loved ones that they had not been able to make contact with. We started creating a database of those folks. We have constantly been working not only with local law enforcement, but also the TBI has their mobile command center set up here. They have been a major help to us in locating these folks. Some of that has been just by going to the families' homes, to friends' houses, looking for them. We have been working with those folks that called in with us to help us tell us if they've located the folks. And we've been able to work through that process and get that down to just 3 people that we know of that are not accounted for. So it's been a time-consuming process, but our goal in this is we got to make sure that everyone is accounted for that we know of that has not been contacted or is still missing.
Kyle Ranier, News Channel 5.
Yes, sir.
What do you guys think the injury number is? We know the deaths, know how many people are still missing, but how many people were injured?
We had 88 people that were treated at Cookville Regional Medical Center. Some of those with serious injuries. We did have some of those patients that were transferred to Nashville hospitals by helicopter. We may have had some others that went by ground. We may have had some folks that were injured that didn't actually go to Cookville Regional, could have went to local doctor's offices, to other surrounding hospitals. But as far as the official number that we know of, that was 88.
Do you have the names of the 3 people that are still missing?
We do. We will be releasing those to you immediately following this press conference. And we would hope that you would get those names out for us. And if anyone knows any of those folks or knows their whereabouts or has made contact with them, we appreciate if you'd call us at the 646-4636 number. That's the area code 931.
Do you have an estimate on the number of structures that were damaged or destroyed?
Our folks and FEMA and TEMA and everyone's been in the field, especially today, doing damage assessments. We're guesstimating that it's somewhere in that 150 to 200 range, but there's been a lot of structures that have minor damage that we're not really accounting for right now. We're talking about structures with major damage. We think we could have in the 75 to 100 structures that are major damage or have been destroyed. You have some areas that the houses are totally gone, just like they never were there. So it's difficult with all of the debris and the damage and the down power lines for them to do their assessments, but that continues and will continue until we complete the assessment, but that may be a few days from now. So all of my numbers that I'm giving you are total guesses and estimates. We do not have a final count yet.
And are you aware or had any conversations with people to know whether most people had insurance or people may not have had insurance?
The state insurance commissioner was here today. As you probably, when you came in, we have several of our insurance companies have mobile sites set up. They are working with all of those folks, but we don't have an idea of how many of them actually had insurance or didn't have insurance.
Can you clarify the number again? Did you say 150 to 200 had major damage?
No, I said we thought 150 to 200 had damage, is what I meant to say. We're not for sure on that number. As I said, those are total guesses. Until we are able to finish our assessment, those are total estimates.
Has FEMA or National Weather Service been able to tell you, is this the same tornado that started in Nashville?
They were here today, the National Weather Service and FEMA. We have not heard back as to the strength of that tornado. I think in our minds we think it was the same one, but they have not given us any information to let us know that yet. We hope to have that information tomorrow. Yes.
Sheriff, have you all been holding off on actually removing debris until you've made this second pass? Was that a deliberate delay?
No, we have not been delaying anything. We've been working.
Well, what I mean is like not actually hauling out debris because you were making the second pass.
Absolutely. Okay. We did one pass through, checked all the houses, went through the debris the best we can, and then the second pass through is where we started removing rubble and making from one pile to another pile and looking and searching within the structure.
And that second pass, have you all found anything because of the second pass, or it just gives you confidence that you weren't there?
We have not. We're just trying to give us a double check on that. Yes.
Any other looting issues at all?
None whatsoever. We had strong law enforcement presence along with other rescue and fire and all the other agencies, but we have not.
Has anyone made any sort of economic impact calculation from the storm in terms of lost property, lost productivity?
Not yet, but that will be part of the process, especially with FEMA and TEMA as we work through this. That's going to be a time-consuming effort also. Let me also say that our road supervisor, Randy Jones, is in the back of the room. Him and Greg Brown, the street department director, they have worked tirelessly to make sure that all of our roads have been cleared. All of those are passable. It allows our emergency responders, law enforcement, everyone's that are doing these searches and folks to be able to get through the roads. And we want to say a great debt of gratitude to our local construction companies who have donated all kinds of big equipment and trucks and so forth that have been out helping the road department to make sure that they clear the roads. But just realize that that's been a major undertaking in itself.
I know there were about 2,500 volunteers this morning, you'd said.
That's a guesstimate. That's just by folks looking at the scene and knowing how many people that we went in. But we had a lot of folks that came to the scene this morning that did not go through our planned organization of volunteers and just showed up and went in, which caused some issues this morning. We've worked through that through the day. We're very thankful for everyone that showed up, but we're just asking that tomorrow that we're not going to allow any volunteers in and allow the power companies to do some hazardous work that they've got to do because we don't want to see anyone get hurt. Other questions?
On your list of the deceased, how many of them do you think were in the McBroom area?
Do we have those narrowed down?
I don't think we do right now. We're still, I don't think we have those narrowed down yet. We're still just working on the list, and we haven't actually started calculating and putting who was found where and that sort of thing. We have not done that yet. Thank you.
As far as those that weren't accounted for, but now are, what are some of the ways that people were getting in touch with you to let you know that they weren't missing?
Most of those came with telephone calls to the Emergency Operations Center. Some of that came from the TBI, our local law enforcement, and our Emergency Operations Center calling, making contacts with family members they may be able to look up. We've used social media, we've used the internet, we've used school system records to try to tie families together to figure out if we could get in touch with some of the family to find out if they had made contact with them. It's not just been any one effort, it's been a combination of efforts.
I do have another question, and
Okay.
I apologize if you've addressed this at prior briefings, but was there any issue with getting alerts to people's cell phones? I did talk to one man today who didn't get an alert before the tornado hit. He said that he thought an alert would have woken him up, and he didn't get one. Do you know anything about that?
Well, we have every alert system that a very sophisticated one, but you have to realize that cell phones don't always work, and with you already had the storm damage that started happening in Nashville or even west of that, moving across the state, and from what we understood from state officials, there were over 200 cell towers affected across the state. I know I got numerous alerts, but there's no way to guarantee that everyone got an alert. I will say what I think made this storm very bad is the time of night that it happened, just shy of 2 a.m. in the morning. Most folks are asleep. One thing you have to make sure is that you have emergency alerts turned on your phone to be able to get those. I'm not saying anyone did or didn't, but we did everything we possibly could. The National Weather Service, even our local news medias that have all these apps and everything that put these alerts out. We have an emergency management app that a lot of folks have downloaded in our county that puts those alerts out. Just realize that tornado, when it lifted out, if it was the same one coming out of Nashville, Mount Juliet, and Lebanon, then lifted out, and there was no sign of it then until it touched back down into Putnam County, from what we understand. So there wasn't a lot of time from the time that those alerts went out from the time that the tornado hit. So, but I think it happening early in the morning like that was definitely a part of the loss of life when most folks were sleeping.
has the county considered tornado sirens
We have several.
that are throughout the county or just?
We have several. The thing about warning sirens is they were never developed for people inside your house. They were developed for the outdoors. The range of those sirens is very small. We have several across the cities and out in the county, but we found that the alert system through the cell phones and through the landlines and social media and those kind of things work better for the folks that are on the inside. Most folks inside their house that would have been sleeping, I don't think would have been able to hear a warning siren. Anybody else?
On the cell phone issue, is there any thought of bringing in any other mobile technology that will boost the cell signals? Because right now everybody's struggling, as you know.
Yes, we actually have had portable towers that were brought in yesterday. I know by Verizon and AT&T. There could have been others that I'm not aware of, but I know those did. They brought them into the affected area. There was a problem yesterday, I think, with the actual connections that went between the cell towers back out to the cell companies. I understood at one time there was down to only one connection that was carrying all that bandwidth. Of course, that's been restored and back up. So I know, and I think Sheriff Ferris knows, that today we have seen much better cell phone coverage than we did after the storm on Tuesday. But that technology was definitely affected by all the damage. Other questions?
Could you each go through your names so we have the spellings correct?
Sure. I'm Randy Porter. I'm the Putnam County Mayor. RANDYPORTER.
I'm Eddie Ferris, EDDIEFARRIS, Putnam County Sheriff.
Ricky Shelton, RICKYSHELTON, Cookeville City Mayor.
John Rose, U.S. Representative for the 6th District, JOHNROSE.
Any other questions? If we have anything urgent, we will make sure that we notify you. And like I said, unless we have something come up urgent, our next press briefing will be tomorrow evening at 5:15 at the same location. Thank you so much.